Hello all, welcome back to Winter Talks, where we talk to some crazy people about some crazy stuff because let's be honest, no one would ever be sane enough to do this with me willingly. To everybody, please welcome today we have special guest PastelFloofi. Hello, how are you today?
Hello! I'm good. How are you?
Trying. uh,
Yep. Yep.
how about you introduce yourself so that we get a good idea of what exactly you do as a creative in the scene?
Well, for those of you that don't know me, my name is PastelFloofi. I do a lot of original music, and mostly it revolves around video games. And sometimes I tend to stray from that and do animations from time to time. But mostly, I just kind of do it to have fun, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah, yeah. We've actually been trying to get this set up for like a couple of weeks now. I want to say, like there have been a lot of
Yeah.
delays with this recording in particular. So finally, yay, we get to do it. uh,
That was on my end because moving was annoying and stuff,
yeah.
but I'm done now. It's all
Before we
done.
get into the actual topics, I want to talk about like if you can at least what happened, like what was that situation, I guess, or can you not talk about it?
The situation, I could talk about it. The situation was mostly just needing to unpack the essential things first before my computer and everything else. So like getting stuff up, set up in the kitchen and like the oven and everything else, the things we need for the house and stuff, and then eventually moved on to like before we moved, it was mostly just like, oh, you have this date set, and then they pushed back the date, and then the date just kept getting swapped around. But in the end, we got there, and here we are today.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
But yeah, on to the topics at hand. Your introduction to the scene, at least your first video that I have seen on the channel, was you started with animations before you post
I
before
did,
you
yes.
posted music and all that on the channel. You started with animations, so walk me through kind of, I guess, the process that the animations were going at the time, and then eventually how you got into, like, I wouldn't say how you got into creating music because I know you've been doing it for longer than the YouTube channel has been active, but why I
Oh,
guess
yeah.
you transitioned from the animations into getting more music published.
I don't know. Like, I originally started the channel to make animations on, and it was just kind of like a fun little side project, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. And then after a while, I was like, I'm uploading a lot on this channel. I kind of want to. I feel like I'm doing a lot more for a side channel than I should be. So then I eventually made that my main channel and just went with it. And then over time, gradually, I wanted to post more original stuff instead of just animations. I wanted to branch out from just creating animations because I feel like I could do a lot more with the skill set that I had,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I don't know, it kind of like just stemmed from there, I
Yeah,
suppose.
definitely. Um, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Now you had a lot of rough drafts of a lot of things before the first official PastelFloofi single came out to the channel, including
Oh, yeah.
the, I believe it was the demo at that time for our newest experiment. You were working on that for a
Oh, yeah.
long time. I remember because we've been in. Oh shit. Okay, internet. Sorry, sorry. I'll be able to cut. I'll be
No,
able to
you're good.
cut this out. But
Yeah, it's
okay,
fine.
yeah. You were working on our newest experiment for a long time.
Oh, yeah, I was.
We've.
I.
Go ahead.
Go on. Sorry, I butted in. Finish what you were going to say. Go on, it's
Yeah,
okay.
I remember talking with you in multiple VC chats even before it came out. Like, you had so many rough drafts of that song in particular. There were so many iterations, and it's
Yeah.
and I just kind of walk me through the process. Like, when was the first iteration of that started? I kind of want to know.
Oh, okay. So it all started when I went on holiday with my mother and my brother. We went to Blackpool for like a weekend, and I brought my laptop with me then because I wanted to just do stuff when I chilled out in the caravan and everything else. And it was kind of like a relaxing thing,
Hmm.
you know, after the whole day. So I eventually got in and, made a draft. And I came up with an idea for it. And I really liked it. I sent it to like two people at the time and they loved it. And it kind of just stemmed from there, I guess. It grew from there, and then as soon as I got home, I like just started working on it from my PC, building it more and more. I eventually released it all the way back in like 2022, around like Octoberish sort of
Oh, okay.
time. But at that
I totally
time,
forgot about this. Yeah.
I originally released it around that time, but at that time it was something. It was very very experimental in a way, I
Yeah.
guess. No pun intended. But I don't know. I looking back on it, the idea was good, but the execution that I had at that time was not the greatest. So I kind of took a step away from it for a bit, and then just kind of chilled out. And then a few months down the road, and then I kind of picked it back up, and I was like, no, I'm gonna redo this from scratch. So I eventually redid the whole entire thing from scratch, and that was around probably around the same time that the Garten song released. Actually, that was when I first started making it, and then it kind of like went from there
And
in
I
a way,
think that
and then eventually released in
yeah.
September.
And I think that is actually a great segue to talk about um Face Off with the Garten, because that song, at least in terms of your viewership, I think that kind of changed the game, at least for you. That was when people started coming,
Yeah,
and they were like, "Oh, who's
yeah,
this?"
yeah. That was when I gained a lot of traction from that, and so the funny story behind that song was it was originally meant to just be a shitpost between me and one of my friends at the
Yeah.
time. But as I kept progressing through the song, I was like, I'm actually putting effort into this and I didn't even realize
Like, oh
it.
wait, this is
And
a
then
bop.
yeah, I was like, this is good. So I kind of like dropped it and then it started like gaining after a while and I was like, oh no, what have I done? But yeah, after that, I think I was like, I was kind of shocked to see it take off in a way, like how well it did.
Really?
But yeah, like I wasn't expecting it to do anything at all, but I just kind of like did it on a whim, to
I
be
mean,
honest. Like
with
this,
Garden of Banban, obviously it's, if anything, I would call it a shit post indie horror series, because it,
yeah, it totally
and
is.
something that I don't think a lot of people recognize is that it is designed to be a satire of the indie horror genre. And so many people
Yeah,
take it so seriously, going like, this is total shit. Well, that's the point. And at the time,
exactly.
I don't think there were a lot of people who actually did like a song about Garten of Banban that actually had effort put in. Like, a lot of them were, as you started with, like, low effort shit posts, because they were
Hmm.
just like, yeah, it's just that game. The one other one that I can think of that actually had effort put into it is, of course, Streisand Effect. but that's a whole different ball game
Yeah.
in terms of
Oh yeah.
that's a whole different genre, especially compared to Face Off with the Garden.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like I don't think there were a lot of songs that did that like yours did. So I think I want to think that that was the reason it gained so much traction, because there actually was effort put in, and there was something like as much as what started as a shit post could have, it did have passion put into it, and it had effort.
Oh yeah, 100%. I enjoyed making that song as much as I think the Bam Bam franchise is a shitpost. I did actually enjoy making that song, and I do still like it to this day.
Yeah, I think
You
it's
know?
great. And the more recent version, actually, before we get into the more recent version of Face Off with the Garden, the remaster, I want to talk about what I don't believe you do it as much anymore, but the internal link that all of your songs used to have, that being the penis music.
Oh god, yeah.
What?
I knew that was gonna creep up somewhere.
Like I kind of wonder, like, why that? Why was that the one thing that kind of connected all of your songs together? Like, was it just for shits and
I
giggles,
feel like
or was there an explicit reason
at
for
the
it?
time when I first did it with the whole penis music sound effects and stuff, it was mostly for shit posting and wasn't meant to be taken seriously. Any song that had that wasn't a serious song. I just kind of did it. But over time, I was like, wait, hold up, this actually works with a bunch of stuff. And I just kind of like started putting it here and there. And then I was like, damn, this is good.
Yeah, it.
But yeah, that's pretty much the story behind that.
Okay, yeah, because I definitely knew that at the beginning it must have been, but like I didn't know, I guess, the story behind, like, how did you? I mean, I guess, how did you even come up with putting that as like a backtrack to a lot of the songs?
Well, the idea was actually by my good friend Letus.
Oh, of course.
He actually gave me the idea
Yes,
for it.
the resident nerd emoji.
He was like, yep. He gave me the idea. He was like, dude, we were on a voice chat and I was showing him the Garten Bam Bam song, and he was like, dude, put this in. And I was like, okay. So I put it in and I like mixed it up a little, and it fit really well. It honestly fit incredibly well, and I just kind of rolled with it from there.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's an interesting thing, that little bit of connective tissue just happening to be that of all things.
Yep.
And the recent remaster of, or not, I guess not recent. You put it out quite a few months ago at this point. But
Yeah.
the remaster for Garten had the key change, if I remember correctly. Which I am proud to say is, I think, the lasting imprint that I have left on some of your stuff. Is that you now will include
100%.
key changes. And
I am a sucker for key changes.
and I am immensely proud of that achievement, because as viewers of this channel know, I love key changes. They are my favorite thing in all of music, and I will put them into songs. Like, I do covers, and I will put them into songs that don't even have them originally, just to make them sound better in my ears. And yeah, I'm very proud of the fact that I have assisted you in making key changes a regular thing. So
You've left a staple with those key
yes,
changes.
yes. Let's move on back to our newest experiment, because, as we said, there was a lot going on there, and even like the era that song was made, there was a lot of other stuff in the back end that you were doing.
Yeah,
Can we mention some of those, or are
yeah, for sure.
because one that I'm definitely thinking about as of recently was, I believe there was the Iron Lung song that was in development for a little while.
I I I don't think it was an Iron Lung song. No, I've never made an Iron Lung song.
Or who?
Um,
Because there were a
it
lot of.
was Advocate that was
Oh
making
yeah,
an
that's
Iron Lung
right.
song.
Sorry, but there were a lot of like projects that you had started and that you had kind of wavered on. There were a couple that were canceled.
Yeah,
Um,
I still have a lot of those projects. Who knows? I still have them. Maybe I'll pick them up in the future. But as for right now, the reason I kind of didn't go through with them was because at that time I was juggling about 5 songs per month,
yeah,
and there was so much I could not keep up with it for that time. Um, I kind of like put them on hold indefinitely for a
yeah,
while because, again, I just couldn't, manage doing like 5 songs at a
yeah.
time, one song like per month, and then release it whenever I feel like it's
Mm,
ready. That's kind of like my jazz, what I have going at the
yeah.
moment.
Um, there was even a song in that mix. I can't remember what it was going to be based on, but there was even one song that you and I were going to do at one point, and then you were like, "Okay, I'll drop that for now." Um, I I don't believe we've
Yeah,
gotten back to it, but
it was the Lethal Company
yeah,
song,
that was the one that I was
and
thinking of. Yeah,
yeah, the reason I still have that, I'm not working on it at the moment, but maybe in the future I'll pick it back up and change it into something
mm-hmm.
else. But as for right now, the main reason I didn't do it was because I felt like my skills weren't properly honed for that sort of stuff,
Yeah, because that
And
track went into
I wanted
that track
to.
went into territory you hadn't exactly experimented too much into before.
Oh yeah,
With the genre
yeah,
that it was in, we'll not talk about that just in case you do want to go back to it in the future. Um, but yeah, I'm still down if you do want to feature me on that. Like that, I still think the idea for that song was really cool. I loved what you had at least shown me, the little progress that you did have.
yeah.
So yeah,
I The whole reason I kind of like took a step back from it was because again I didn't couldn't hone my skills with it, and mostly because with like playing guitar and stuff, I'm not that skilled
mm-hmm.
at yet. I'm getting one for my birthday though, which I'm quite excited about. So I'll be looking forward to picking that back up and learning that.
Hey, nice.
So who knows? Maybe I will pick it up in the
Hell
future.
yeah. Yeah, there was the Lethal Company track that was being made around that time. Um, I don't know, cause there was a lot of stuff that was being made around that time. There were a lot of drafts
It
that you
was, yeah.
had. Are there any that?
I had one.
Oh,
I had one for Ruin, Security Breaches
yeah.
DLC, which I never. I still have the entire file for that. I never went through with it because I could not, for the life of me, find lyrics for it. That was the main issue with that.
Okay.
The instrumental is all complete, it's all ready, but I just could not find the lyrics for the song. So that's probably on hold for a
Gotcha.
bit until I find something that's suitable for it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I had totally forgotten about the Ruin song, cause you had shown of course, in VCs, a bit of the instrumental, as you always did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely forgot about it up until now. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. There's another one as well, which is the song I'm working on currently, which I haven't really done much on at the moment, which is the KinitoPet Song.
Yeah.
I haven't done much with that because mostly the same reason I couldn't find lyrics, and mostly because I couldn't find the time to actually sit down and do stuff at the moment. Since like stuff IRL is kind of a bit like all over the place at the moment, so I'm kind of like trying to settle down a bit,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, no, that at the moment it's going really well. I've finished the instrumental for that one recently, like a few days ago. I've written. There we go. Written.
Wroten.
I've written the first verse and the chorus. Written.
But
yeah,
because I've joked around a little bit while in these. I've had like specific sound effects from the guests be for censored words. That'll be the censor sound effect Roten. For this
Okie
one.
dokie.
So yes. Wonderful, glorious, beautiful.
Magnificent.
Now I can't get that out of my head. But yeah,
That one's gonna stick around for a while.
Put that in the quotes chat in your server, Jesus.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, you've done quite a bit more than I guess people have actually seen. There's been so much stuff in the back end in terms of your work and how everything has progressed. And I think a lot of those canceled projects are why every release from you, I think, sounds so much better than ever before. Because you've been doing so much in the back end that you've consistently had to grow your skill set and the quality of the work. So every release has just had at least some kind of difference in sound and different types of experimental elements with each of them. But I think that has really worked to establish that, you know, with this artist, you can't really... You expect the unexpected. It's not going to be the same sound, but it's at least going to be a somewhat familiar rendition, but there's always going to be stuff added onto it. And I really like that about your music, because there's so many artists in the space, especially the nerdcore space, that utilize the same kind of sound for most of their career. They use the same 4 chords. Like... they use the same presets, but you are constantly experimenting.
Yeah, I'm forever sat here just doing this and this. I'm like, ooh, I should add this, and I'm like, nah, it's a bit too much. And then I'm like, the day later, I'm like, I should have done that. I should have totally done that. And then I end up doing it.
I mean, and especially with your music, the instrumental soundscape is so complicated in your work. There are so many moving parts and layers to your stuff. Because, as I said, in VCs you've shown off the FL Studio FLPs. And it's just like, I cannot comprehend how you are able to look at that and go, well, this is this thing. This layer is that one. But this layer is a slightly altered version of that layer. And it's like, I don't understand how you do it. And I think that's why with your success as of recently, I think you're going to be, with you creating the very first Fandom Indigo Park song, I want you to blow up. Because there is so much merit in your instrumental quality. There's so much there, and it's so cool. I've never seen another artist that is more inherently complex in instrumental work. At least not for a while.
Yeah, the Indigo Park one. The Indigo Park one is wild. I spent about like 10 months just straight making that song. Originally, it was going to be me and Advocate, but we had different ideas for the song, and then we eventually decided to kind of do our own things.
Yeah. For all of those listening, Advocate Music, go to his channel. He's really cool.
Yeah.
Go support him and stream the Bendy song that he wants to do a remake of. Specifically just to annoy him and say that he shouldn't do the remake. No, for real though.
Yep. But yeah, no, he's really talented in what he does, you know. I've known him for years, and we just instantly clicked from day one, and we're the best of friends, you know.
Yeah,
I've known him since like 2017.
I haven't specifically known him for that long. I actually kind of stayed away from him because for a while there, I know this is really bad saying this behind your back, Advo, but I'll send this to you so that you can watch it, so it's not like I was kind of put off by him for a while, but he has grown a lot as a person. He's not nearly as much of a dick as he used to be, to put it bluntly. Like he's
that's one way of putting it. But yeah, nah, if you're watching, buddy, you're great.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Yeah, he's grown a lot, and he's become a good friend of mine too. I've confided in.
I'm really proud of.
Go ahead.
How far he's come, you know.
I mean, especially, like, not just him as a person, but in terms of musicianship, he's gotten really good.
Oh yeah. 100%.
I remember, there was. I think he sent you this too. There was, one of the things I will never forget from Advo was he sent a snippet of instrumental, and there was like a crackling sound in the background, and I was like, what was that? Like, what's that sound effect? He was like, I didn't plug in my bass.
The crackling sound effect. Oh, I'm trying to remember. It's been a while.
I want to say that was the Iron Lung one.
Maybe it was? I don't know. You'd have to check with him, to be honest.
But yeah, there was like one where there was a crackling sound in the background, and he was like, I didn't plug in my bass, so it just made that sound instead.
Yeah.
But anyway, going into Troublesome Trickery, because that is, as I kind of said before, the very first Indigo Park fandom song.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, having the very first one out?
I honestly feel honored to have the chance to do that and kind of like show what I have to offer in a way in terms of my skillship and everything else, and branch out to new fandoms and stuff like that, you know? And people are loving it, and I'm so grateful for the support that it's got.
Yeah,
you know?
I want to say it just recently passed 15K, right? Something like that.
Oh no, it's far from that. If I check right now, I will tell you.
Oh Jesus, it's at 69K. Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep, 69K.
Everybody say it with me now. Nice.
But yeah, it's nice.
But yeah, it's gotten quite a bit of attention, and I think that's super cool.
It even got picked up. By the game's creator, Unique.
Yeah, he was in the premiere.
He reacted to it on. Yeah, he was. He reacted to it on the stream, and he liked it. He he had like a few little nitpicks about Rambly being a
Yeah.
villain in it and stuff like that, but I don't know. Who knows? You never know.
Yeah. It, I think it's really cool how there are so many different. Oh my god, sorry, notification from my computer just blared up in my face. Um,
Oh, you're fine.
um, I think we should talk about like because Indigo Park is so interesting because
Mm.
there's a lot of people with a lot of differing views, even though it's only chapter one that's out. Like
Yeah.
Rambly being a villain, and Unique Geese is so like driving the point home. No, he's not.
He is not a villain. Yeah. I as soon as I heard I originally watched Unique Geese a while back before Indigo Park, and I watched him do the Ban Ban Reincarnated. That's where I found his channel
Yes.
from. And I was really shocked at how he managed to pull that together, and I think it was a week, I think. Like, it was really good for being just a week, you
Yeah.
know? But, yeah, no, from there on, I just kind of watched his videos, subbed to him, and liked his stuff, and then next thing I know, he drops a trailer, announcement trailer for Indigo Park, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be awesome. I watched it and I was instantly gripped with it. Something with it resonated with me so much, and I do not know what it is, even to this
Because
day.
like it
But
is
I just loved
it is you know because it's an indie horror game. There's not much exactly that you can do that's original there anymore. But
Yeah.
it has the vibes of like Poppy and Bendy, but there's something so stylistically different, I think, about it. Like it has its own distinct core nature that the others don't have.
I think that's what also sets it apart and raises the bar for more indie horror games to come out. It it's new. It's like a breath of fresh air, you know. And it's I played the first chapter when it dropped and played it on stream and stuff, and it was really, really, really good.
Agreed.
You know, and the level of quality from everyone on that team, like the voice acting, the animations, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, everything was so well put together. It was just amazing. I loved it.
And I think that's the other thing that really sets it apart from the other indie horror franchises. It's because this, like, not to discredit Poppy Playtime, which had a bigger budget, but I think this is the best
Yeah.
looking indie horror game on the market right now. It just looks so good.
Oh yeah,
I want to say it was made with Unreal 4 or 5, right?
I'm pretty sure it was Unreal 5. Yeah.
It's like one of the only ones that's out right now that's using that high-end software, and it shows. It looks so good.
Yeah.
I really can't wait for
Yeah,
future chapters of the game.
Really good. Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. I guess I want to, like, I don't know, cuz I mean, besides that kind of stuff, there's not much in terms of content, I guess, to talk about. But we do have the KinitoPet Song. Or KinitoPet.
That's gonna be coming out eventually. I'm hoping for a release date sometime this year. But yeah,
I mean, you already put out the
will come
release date
out.
trailer.
I did put out the release date trailer, and that's one of my issues. Is I like to set deadlines for
Yeah.
things, but then when those deadlines comes around, I'm like, No, because I could do so much
Mm,
more than what I have done already, and then they get pushed back, and then that's the issue I'm
yeah.
having with a lot of my stuff, and I've had for like the past year is I set deadlines and then I reach the deadlines, and then I'm like, I can do so much more with
But
this.
wait.
Like like with the like with the KinitoPet song, I when it reached the deadline, it was nowhere near as polished as it is now. It was I want to say it was a mess, but it wasn't really a
Okay.
mess. It was mostly just kind of sprouting ideas out and seeing what
Hmm.
works, you know.
Throwing stuff at the wall, saw it
Um
stick.
yeah, pretty much. And I'm at that point now with this song where I've got a solid base for it. I'm more than happy with how it's turning out
Yeah.
at the moment. For my future stuff, I don't plan on setting any deadlines for anything anytime
Okay.
soon. I think it's best if I don't set deadlines and I just announce that things are
Yeah.
happening, you know? But yeah, you'll see more stuff in the future sometime. I'm I've got a few ideas in the works for compilations and
Yeah.
stuff, but
Um,
that probably won't be until next year
yeah.
sometime.
You also put out for the 30K view special. You put out a behind the scenes for Troublesome Trickery. Now, I know
I
that
did,
for
yeah.
Troublesome Trickery, you didn't do all of the art aspects. Um, some of those were made by Mars, who is absolutely wonderful. Uh,
Mars is incredibly
Agreed.
talented.
Yeah. Um, I'm I'm interested to know like the history between you and Mars. I guess because I've seen Mars around the general nerdcore space for a while now, but I really haven't been able to talk with them too
Hmm.
much.
Me and Mars, I can't really remember how we met. I think we originally met from Advocate server back in like I want to say
Okay.
2022. I would say it's around that time that we first met, and then we just kind of like talked on and off for a while, and then I would share my ideas with Mars, they would share their ideas with me, and then we became
Yeah.
buds, you know?
Um.
And I think it went
Yeah.
from there.
The typography was done by Farpix, who is also awesome.
Oh, yeah. Perfect is great.
Yeah. I did kind of want to touch on two of the released songs that I don't think are very popular, I guess. And I know that you probably want to just be rid of this first one. At least you might. Mathematical mishaps. I kind of want to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So,
I knew this was going to creep up
yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to ask about this one.
That was a wild one. That actually started a few months before I even made our newest experiment. That was like the first thing I did for
Yeah.
PastelFloofi. That was mostly just an idea. I was like messing around with MIDI sounds and whatnot. And then one of my friends was like, "You should turn that into a Baldy song." And I was like, "I should. That would be funny." And then it just kind of dropped
Yeah,
out
it
of the
is very
blue.
short. It's like only 2.5 minutes. But I think it's
Yeah,
fun. Um,
it's a goofy little melody that I don't know. It was very experimental. It's not really. I wouldn't really call it a song, more just an idea that I've
yeah.
released, I guess.
And the other one that I want to talk about, because this one is even lesser known, It Can't Only Be Me, or It Can't Be Only Me.
Oh yeah.
Because I
Okay.
think besides Troublesome Trickery, I think that's your best song. I love the vibe that thing has. Like,
That is actually still being worked on to
Oh,
this day,
really?
funnily
It's
enough.
it's still being worked on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
because you put out
That's gonna be a collaboration with me and Advo, actually.
Really? Okay. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
look at us getting the
Yep.
exclusive announcements. But yeah,
But yeah, I don't really have a date for that at the moment, but I have recorded lyrics and a few takes for it, but nothing is really set in stone for that at the
yeah,
moment. That's kind of like on the
cause
side. I'll probably finish it when I have the spare
yeah,
time for it,
you put it
you
out
know?
like 7 months ago. Thereabout, and it's
Mm.
not very viewed. There's not much attention on it, and I
I think the main reason for that was because I released it as a single and didn't make a video
yeah,
for it.
you didn't really
Because
make any kind of like
at the time I released it, there wasn't really much for going for it. It was mostly just the instrumental, and that was it. And I did promise something was going to release then, and the song was nowhere near ready. And I think I just kind of like I was like, fuck it. So I just kind of like dropped the instrumental,
yeah,
but it's gonna get a rework. It's gonna be way better than what it sounds like there. It already sounds way better than what it does there.
yeah. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how that song will turn out because I think the vibe that you have for it is so cool.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, I guess that's actually most of our topics. So I guess like
Yeah, I'd
the
say so.
question is like what's next for you? What is currently or like in the distant future? What is next for
Yeah, well, I can't say too much about the distant future, but at the moment, I'm like I said, I'm working on the KinitoPet song. The Lethal Company song will probably be picked up and turned into something else eventually. Um, the Band song, the one I'm doing with Advo, will be eventually
yeah.
finished, and I'm currently working on a Help Wanted 2 song alongside a Ruin song, which isn't the original one that I
Okay.
talked about.
I did want to ask um I don't know if this has been turned into something else, but the last big
Mm-hmm.
like thing I want to ask about, what was Break Horse?
Break Horse. Wow,
Yeah,
okay. Oh, I wasn't expecting
sorry.
that one.
I've gone back
Wow.
into the channel just to dig up the archives. Like what was Break Horse?
Break Horse. Honestly, I don't really remember much about it. It was. I think I was just kind of messing around with sound effects at the time, and it was just mashed together, and I was like, I'm gonna totally upload that as a
Oh,
joke.
okay.
And a few people actually liked it, and I have no idea
Yeah,
why.
I think
It's just a shit
I think
post.
that's another one of those vibes. Like it's kind of the same as like it can't only or it can't be only me. Like I like it. I think it's all right. I think it's cool.
I guess, quoting the words from Bob Ross, it's a happy little accident. Break horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Anything that you want to discuss, I guess.
Um, not really, other than just hang tight, because everything's a bit hectic here at the moment, and I know I haven't been posting a lot, and like I've been kind of inactive from Discord and everything
Mm,
else, but that was mostly due to moving house and everything else.
yeah.
But now that I'm settled in, and I think I'm gonna eventually get back into
Hmm.
it, and then see how it goes from there. You
Yeah.
know,
Absolutely.
so keep on the lookout for some new stuff.
Alrighty then. So, to those of you listening, if you've made it this far, thank you very much. That means you have more than the attention span of a goldfish, which is always appreciated.
Thank you for listening to me ramble on.
Yeah. So if you like what you heard, leave a like, leave comments on our discussions, all that happy jazz. Um, Pastel, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to say whatever the hell you want into the mic. So, go.
Please like and subscribe. Please. Please.
Yeah, I'm going to leave all of Pastel's social links down below so you can check him out. He makes really cool stuff. He's almost at 1,000 subscribers, so by the time this video is out, I want to see that number go up to 1,000. So do it. Go. And
I'm planning on doing something special for 1,000.
let's go. But yeah, that is about it from us. Peace, everybody, in due time.
See ya.